A lot of people will tell you these thinking habits mean you're overthinking or being difficult. But psychology tells a very different story. These traits aren't mistakes. You were never wired the way people assumed you were. Your mind processes information in ways that challenge the usual rules without even trying. And once you understand why, your entire self-perception shifts. Like the video and subscribe, because here's where the real explanation begins. Number 1. Wanting to break invisible constraints. Have you ever noticed how you can walk into a room and instantly sense the rules that no one ever says out loud? There's a reason those unspoken boundaries feel louder to you than the ones printed on paper. Your mind is wired to question structures most people accept automatically, scanning for the limits built into language, expectations, and even the rhythm of a moment. Instead of following these invisible lines, you instinctively test them. Not to rebel, but to understand what's real and what's simply habit. It's a quiet kind of intelligence, one that pushes you to explore the space just beyond what others consider normal. You're not trying to cause friction. You're trying to find the truth inside the structure. That's why certain environments feel too tight or too predetermined, as if you can feel the ceiling before anyone else notices it's there. And this sensitivity often reveals something deeper about how you navigate your world, especially in the moments when your mind starts shifting in ways even you don't expect. Number 2. Flipping perspectives mid-thought. Psychology says your ability to switch viewpoints in the middle of a thought isn't indecision at all, but a sign of unusually flexible processing. You can be halfway through forming an opinion when your mind suddenly shifts seats, trying on a different angle as naturally as breathing. It's not something you force, and it's definitely not something most people do without effort. Your brain moves through perspectives like layers, adjusting the frame, imagining how someone else might see it, and recalibrating your own stance in real time. This is why your thoughts can feel fluid, complex, and hard to explain to anyone who expects ideas to stay in a straight line. While others hold one viewpoint tightly, you can hold several at once, feeling each one from the inside before deciding what rings true. It's a kind of mental shapeshifting that lets you understand people and situations from angles they never consider. And sometimes, this shifting opens up an inner dialogue that becomes even more intricate than the original thought itself. Number 3. Arguing with your own opinions. People often say you overthink things. But what if the real issue is that they don't realize how deeply you examine your own ideas? The moment you land on a thought, another part of your mind steps forward to question it, test it, and look for the weak points most people never bother to notice. It's not negativity and it's not self-doubt. It's your brain running an internal stress test, holding the idea steady while exploring every angle around it. You generate your own counterarguments before anyone else has the chance, almost like you're conducting a private debate inside your head to see what the idea is truly made of. This ability to challenge your own thinking is a form of cognitive depth that makes simple conclusions feel incomplete. You're not trying to tear your thoughts apart. You're trying to understand them fully, down to their structure and motive. And in those quiet moments, when your mind loops back with another perspective, something more intricate begins to reveal itself beneath the surface. Number 4. Creating imaginary rules to test yourself. You're walking through a hallway, and without thinking, you decide you can only step on the darker tiles. Why does your mind do that? These small, private challenges aren't random quirks. They're internal experiments your brain creates to understand how you respond under subtle pressure. You invent limits, adjust them, break them, and rebuild them, all without saying a word, because your thinking thrives on self-generated friction. It's as if your mind needs a moving target to stay engaged, using tiny simulations to test your focus, curiosity, and adaptability. Most people ignore these impulses, but for you, they're a quiet way of stretching your cognitive boundaries and exploring how your thoughts behave when the rules shift. You're not trying to impress anyone or win anything. Your brain is simply playing with possibility, probing the edges of what feels comfortable or expected. And the more you do this, the more you begin to notice how these inner experiments shape the way you handle the world beyond your own thoughts, in ways that aren't always obvious at first glance. Number 5. Seeing everything as a system. There's a certain clarity that comes when you realize your mind isn't chaotic. It's simply connecting things other people don't see. To you, nothing exists in isolation. Every conversation, every shift in tone, every small decision sits inside a larger structure your brain is already mapping. You notice subtle cues in people's behavior, tiny cause and effect patterns, and shifts in group dynamics that others move past without a second thought. It's not that you're overanalyzing. It's that your perception naturally zooms out, catching the hidden mechanics behind how things work and why they unfold the way they do. And this ability to trace underlying structures gives you a sense of calm, because order appears where most people assume there is none. You read the emotional architecture of a room the same way others read a headline, quietly tracking who's drifting, who's rising, and where the pressure points are forming. And in moments when these systems start to shift, your mind prepares for changes long before they surface, pulling you into an even deeper awareness that sets up what happens next. Number 6. Mentally zooming out during small decisions. You pick up something simple at the store, and before you know it, your mind is already miles beyond the shelf in front of you. What feels like overthinking to others is really your brain widening the frame, placing even the smallest choice inside a bigger web of consequences and context. You naturally scan for long-term effects, ethical considerations, emotional impact, and how this one moment fits into the larger flow of your life. It's not that you can't make quick decisions. It's that your mind refuses to ignore the bigger picture it can so clearly see. This zoomed-out awareness is why certain choices feel heavier, even when nothing about them looks important from the outside. You're navigating more than the moment. You're navigating the ripple it creates, the pattern it joins, and the direction it quietly sets. And when you catch yourself pausing longer than others, it's often because your mind is sensing connections that aren't visible yet, pulling you into a perspective that shapes your experience from the inside out. Number 7. Watching yourself participate in real time. You've had moments where you're talking, smiling, or engaging, yet a part of you feels like it's standing just a step behind your own body. Why does that happen? This isn't detachment or distance. It's your mind observing the scene while you're still in it, tracking your tone, your alignment, and the emotional temperature of the room. You watch yourself interact the way someone else might watch a character, noticing tiny shifts in energy, subtle pauses, or micro-expressions that others move past without noticing. It's a quiet, dual awareness. One part of you participating, another part monitoring how the moment is being held together. And while it can make you feel slightly out of sync, this split perception often gives you clarity that others never reach. You're not disconnected. You're deeply tuned in, sensing the undercurrent beneath the surface of the interaction. And it's often in those reflective moments afterward that your mind pulls you even deeper, returning to the scene with a different kind of attention, searching for what it still wants to understand. Number 8. Replaying past moments to learn from them. You know that feeling when a small moment from earlier suddenly pulls you back in, as if your mind isn't finished with it yet? This isn't you dwelling or obsessing the way people assume. It's your brain running a deeper analysis, revisiting the scene to understand the emotion, the timing, and the meaning behind every detail. You replay the interaction from different angles, noticing a look you missed, a shift in tone, or a feeling that didn't fully register in the moment. It's your way of tracing subtle patterns, making sense of motives, and understanding not just what happened, but why it felt the way it did. And while others dismiss these memories as insignificant, you know they linger because your mind is searching for clarity hidden beneath the surface. You're not stuck in the past. You're learning from it in a way that shapes how you move forward. And in those quiet moments of reflection, Your mind often reveals truths about yourself and others that you couldn't see until everything had time to settle. All of these thinking patterns you carry aren't signs of confusion or chaos. They're signs of a mind that moves in deeper currents than most people notice. You've been navigating the world with layers of awareness that don't always show on the surface. And the more you understand these parts of yourself, the more everything begins to feel a little less heavy and a little more aligned. If this resonated with you, you can like and subscribe to stay connected. And if you want to keep exploring how your mind works, the next video on 9 unusual traits linked to hidden intelligence might open another door for you.